My mother is Mexican. She came from Mexico.
They came about 20-something years ago. Both my parents are immigrants.
My mom came when she was 18 and my aunt came when she was 14.
My family came to America probably over 70 years ago. It's my great-grandparents from the Ukraine.
Man, that was such a long process. It was so crazy. My parents did a lot just to become citizens, actually.
I was brought here when I was 3 years old, but I know my parents went through a hard time.
Just for a better opportunity, better economic opportunity, pretty much.
I would say more for opportunity.
I think it was more just so to get a better opportunity.
They obviously come here for opportunities. I'm sure now in the modern day world, there's a lot more people who come for different reasons.
One thing you have to keep in mind about immigration to the Americas is that both the reasons that immigrants arrived and the character of the country itself is dramatically different now than it was in, say, the 1800s or the 1900s.
It was just a really bad environment to be in, and my dad got caught up in that. So we were trying to find a place to go to, and honestly, we had no other choice but to go to America.
They were forced to move here because my grandma divorced my grandpa. He was kind of abusive, so that doesn't happen a lot in the Philippines too. You just kind of take it.
My mom and her siblings would come home after school crying, in Tagalog they'll say oh, Dad, we want to go back to Manila, and my grandpa would get pissed because he worked so hard for them to become citizens, and he kind of yelled at them saying that's it, for now on, no more Tagalog, we're going to speak English only, you're going to be a part of this country.
So the overall perception of moving into the US was that you could arrive, this is an exaggeration, but you could arrive, you get off the boat, they'd hand you a job and a kitten, and you'd be on your way. Everything was great, you could live the American dream, the streets were paved with gold, and in certain eras, this was close to the truth, but it became less and less accurate the more industrialized the US became, the more populated it became.
Starting to kind of veer towards safety. Some people just don't want to be in places where they're threatened, their lives are threatened, so they come to America because, I'd rather be somewhere where you're safe, and then everything else will follow after. The most important thing is being alive enough to get a job,
I think that's what my parents came in here looking for, freedom and jobs and whatnot, but as soon as we got here, it's not that. America is not what people make it out to be, especially if you're from the Philippines. That's what they see it as, but it really isn't. We first got here and it was really, really hard for us for the first couple years, and it was not what it came out to make it sound like. And I remember for a year when we first got here, my parents were juggling jobs, and we had vegetables for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. There was no meat on the table, and it wasn't even fresh vegetables. It was the discounted vegetables at the Seafood City.
America wants to think that we're a big melting pot and a land of opportunity, but you get here and it's not. The dream gets dulled, it's not quite there.
I think they should work on making this a better place for immigrants to be.
It's too hard, so you lose your patience, you lose the drive to come here, because it's just whatever, it's going to take me 7 years to do it. Who's to say I'm going to be alive in 7 years,
I feel like they should just really crack down on the immigration tests.
There needs to be a certain level of control where we can actually have an economy that can sustain immigration.